Hey guys, here's another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. I'm going to mention now, in case I forget later, I will not be doing an episode tomorrow, Friday. Believe it or not, I'm actually taking the day off. We're going camping. So, yeah, in case I forget to say it, I'll try and say it again at the end of the video, but there will not be an episode tomorrow. We'll be back Monday as usual, but today is essentially Friday for me. So, that having been said, let's talk about what happened today. So basically, I focused on wiring the Ghia today and made a ton of progress here. These cars, I think I mentioned the other day, there are so many wires on these cars. I don't know. To me, it's kind of ridiculous. Volkswagen, I think over the years, and part of this was probably safety regulations, but they added so much stuff to these cars. And they just got more and more complicated to the point where, part of the beauty of these cars to me was their simplicity, and they kind of started losing some of that over the years. I mean, they're still obviously very simple compared to a modern car, but the wiring on these got very complicated. If you compare the number of wires on this car to, say, an oval window Beetle or something, there's probably 2 to 3 times as much wires on this car. For example, there's an emergency flasher switch, which, it's granted it's a good idea to have, but it is wired to the turn signal switch and also to the brake light switch, to the headlight switch, and like all this stuff is like interconnected, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass. But anyway, I'll quit with that rant. Managed to get a lot of wires connected today, and you can see I started kind of trying to neaten things up a little bit. The zip ties are sort of temporary just to, help me get the lengths of things right. And so you can see back here, it's a bit untidy still, more so than I'd like. So probably once I finish the under dash wiring there, I'll be kind of like just unplugging things and routing things as far as like what wire runs over what wire and so on. Try to kind of do that while I'm wiring it, but sometimes it's impossible to make it super neat until you're done. And then in the end, you can kind of stand back and look at it and, reorganize things a little bit. Probably not change lengths, but just kind of route things a little differently. Anyway, but what I'm super happy with is how the dash is looking, and kicking myself in the butt a little bit because I keep forgetting to order a clock for this car, which will go right there. The car, when it came in, it had like a voltmeter or something over there that completely did not go. So we need to get an original clock that will match the style of these 2 gauges here, and then it'll go there. But really happy with how this is looking. The wood grain and then these gauges that we refurbished looking incredible. Got the knobs in. Some of these I'll put new faces on, like for example the headlight one here is pretty faded. They actually make that little insert that you can get. The windshield wiper one, I don't know if we even have the insert for that. I think it's around here somewhere. I didn't really look very hard for it, but if it's faded like the headlight one, we'll get a new one for it, so it looks nice. But yeah, really happy with this dash. Love it with the wood grain. Can't wait to get it finished up and get the pad on the top. And then I don't know if I mentioned, the owner has a retro sound radio, very similar to what we installed in the 62. So that'll be going in, and it's gonna look really good. And then he's got a very cool steering wheel picked out that's got a wood ring for it, wood rim that goes very well with the faux wood dash. And so yeah, it's going to be really gorgeous dash. Driver's compartment here, especially when we get all the new door panels and so on in. But that is pretty much it for today. Not a whole lot else to talk about because I pretty much spent the whole day hunched over here running wires. And it's funny doing this today. One thing I noticed about my wrist, pain aside, this splint, or whatever you want to call this thing that I have on here, is just enormous. And it kept getting in my way when I was trying to get back in here and do wiring. This thing makes my hand like 3 times this normal size, and it's pretty tight back in there. So one thing I ran into a lot today was just this thing just kind of being in the way. Plus, I have pretty limited ability to rotate my wrist at this moment. And so sometimes you got to kind of get in there, and anyway, kind of a pain. So looking forward to getting this thing off hopefully on Tuesday and getting the smaller one, because it is really kind of affecting my ability to get in there and do some of this finer detail on the wiring. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will not be doing one tomorrow. We're going to be camping, and so we will be back Monday. So I hope everyone has a good Friday and a good weekend, and we'll see you guys in a few days. Thanks.